Are you in the market for top-notch digital equipment such as mills, scanners, or furnaces?
Well, God, time is now. Ivoclar has introduced unbeatable rates exclusively for customers in North America.
Ivoclar has made it easy for you to invest in cutting-edge digital equipment with, ready for this, lower than prime interest rates.
I think that's no pun intended, but whether you're looking to upgrade your milling capabilities, enhance your scanning technology, or optimize your furnace performance, Ivoclar Digital has you covered.
To take advantage of this offer, the dedicated digital specialists at Ivoclar are ready to assist you. For details on how to get in touch, visit voicesfromthebench.com and select the Ivoclar tab to find all the information you need to get started. And as always, we appreciate your sponsorship of the podcast, Ivoclar. Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 292 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
And my name is Barbara.
Good morning, Barbara. We're recording this on a kind of a rare Saturday.
And you know I've been doing things.
Do I want to know what you've been doing?
Nope. It's Saturday morning. What else is there to do? But yeah, we are. I'm drinking coffee and it's 8:45 in the morning and we're recording the podcast. So
yeah,
morning,
and excuse me. I appreciate, whoa, hold on. Morningness is in my throat.
I know.
And I appreciate you coming in on a Saturday morning because we usually do it on Friday, but I had a busy end of the week down at Derby Dental Lab.
Talk about it. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I got to do something super exciting. It's kind of strange, you know, in all the chairside that I do, I've never had formal training with any iOS system or really how to use it. I've tried to reach out to these companies, but unless you buy one of their iOSs, they're not really willing to train you on it.
Yeah.
But over the last year, I've helped so many offices in Indiana scan patients and really kind of show them how great the process is. I've really gotten into digital dentures.
And doing it well, I say, because you don't do anything half so.
Well, depends on who you ask. And you know, we've debated on this podcast, and we could debate it all day long on analog versus digital and back and forth. But the matter of fact is, I've seen it work hundreds of times, and patients love them. And most GPs that hate doing dentures actually start to like to do them again.
That's really good to hear, actually.
So a few nights ago, I got to do a presentation at Derby Dental Lab, and I don't think I've spoken since my Preet days. A lot of fun. Had 32 doctors show up.
Nice.
And another 17 online. And all I did was talk about what I've learned over the last year about how to scan for digital dentures and tips and tricks that I picked up along the way. It was just a lot of fun. I got hyped up again doing it.
And you're teaching, and I think you really like to teach. I think that connection is really something that you shine at. So good for you. I'm glad. Especially helping docs. I mean, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Well, helping techs.
Well, you know that out of my presentation, 40% of it was content and 60% of it was memes.
Yeah. Okay.
It really makes me miss the old days of presenting to technicians when I used to do it all the time.
Yep.
So how you been this week?
I'm good. It's too early for me to be witty.
I can tell. I'm struggling to get stuff out of you here, Barb.
Okay. All right, so let's talk.
All right, so this week we continue to bring you two more amazing conversations we got while at the 2023 DTG Symposium that they had at the GC America facility in Allsip, Illinois. When you think of DTG, what do you think of, Barb?
Amazing, artistic, high-end. Handmade.
Yep.
They're a little bit into digital now, but just good people. Awesome.
Yeah, good craftsmanship, amazing restorations. And what really sold me at this meeting was the community of like-minded people that support and encourage each other just to do their best.
Yes.
And that's what made this meeting so great. The people.
And let me tell you something, okay? All the people that are listening and you, Elvis, I came back from that meeting and upped my game.
Did
Like,
you?
I super focus on like really like on the line angles and the texture and the layering. Like, something happened inside me and I want to frickin' be better. I mean, and I mean that sincerely. And since I've gotten back, I always take pride in my work,
Sure.
but I feel like I've upped it another level because I just want to be really, really, really artistic and make people happy and do a really good job. So it twisted something in my brain in a good way. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I came back and took a nap. So
Funny.
And this week we got two of those amazing people to join us. First up is military dental assistant turned lab tech turned president of White Peaks Dental Solutions in the U.S.
Ooh, and she's a rock star.
Shelia Raquel. Sheila sits down with us to talk about her dental journey, partnering up with a German-based company that's all about education, and her female-positive group called Queens Women in the Industry.
Nice.
Then the man who avoided us all weekend till he finally gave in, Quint Whipple.
I love that name.
Great dude. Quint sits down to talk about his very interesting journey from dental school to lab ownership. And after a rude interruption from the owner of Annex USA, Quint tells us about how a correct occlusion can fix so many different health issues. And what I really got into, the history of the DTG coin.
Yeah, he's super spectacular. I gave my son that coin and he loved it.
I pawned mine. I didn't get anything for it. They turned me away.
Oh, you're being humorous again.
So please join us as we chat with Shelia Raquel and Quint Whipple. Whether you're looking to elevate your craftsmanship or looking to cut back on cost, look no further.
VITA MFT teeth are the ultimate solution for creating lifelike and stunning smiles.
Crafted with precision and backed by cutting-edge technology, VITA MFT teeth offer unparalleled aesthetics and durability.
And since VITA believes in the power of experiencing excellence firsthand, for a limited time only, they are offering you the chance to get a complimentary case sample.
That's right, a full case absolutely free. Just visit vitanorthamerica.com/free MFT.
Don't wait any longer to start providing your customers a premium tooth at an economy price. Redeem your free case sample, and if you're ready to buy, VITA will even give you an extra 10% off discount by shopping online on their newly launched online store.
Join the VITA family today, and we appreciate your support of the podcast. GC Initial Lisi Press is the first lithium to silicate ceramic ingot with high density, big word coming up, micronization, or for short HDM,
which is a technology unique to GC that provides exceptional physical properties and the most natural lifelike aesthetics.
HDM uses equally dispersed lithium to silicate microcrystals to fill the entire glass matrix rather than using traditional larger size crystals that do not take advantage of the matrix structure.
The result is the ultimate combination of strength and aesthetics, making GC Initial Lisi Press perfectly suitable for all types of restorations through all levels of transparency.
Most importantly, HDM technology helps ensure the product remains extremely stable without distortion or drop in value, even after multiple firings. Because if you got the shade right the first time, you wouldn't have to fire it again.
And so for more information, call GC America at 800-323-0763 or visit gcamerica.com.
And we always appreciate your support of the podcast, GC America. Voices from the Bench. The interview.
Is it peasants?
No, Sheila Pesantes. A lot of people know me as Sheila Raquel. On social media, I'm Sheila Raquel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it how I don't know people.
And then you
Their
get
online presence is foreign to me.
Yeah.
So what name do you want to be known as?
I just go by Sheila Raquel because that's perfect on social media. That's
Sheila
where
Raquel.
Raquel, yeah.
Raquel.
Yeah.
Raquel. So this is exciting. Thank you, Sheila, for sitting down to be our first interview at the DTG Symposium 2023.
I'm excited.
And what I got to say, in probably the most beautiful
Isn't it?
facility here at GC America. I've never been here. I don't know how new this is, but it looks like it opened yesterday.
Yes, no, it's absolutely
it is
beautiful.
Clean, it is bright.
It's
it
an
is
auditorium.
big.
I walk in and I'm like right there with the lecturer, and I look up and there's people in auditorium. I'm like, damn.
Did I
I'm
come
like,
in the wrong door?
Yeah, right. No, it's so neat. It's kind of something you wouldn't mind in your house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the kind of like the setup, have a little table here.
It is
and-
beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
here.
It's beautiful. It's amazing. And when you're thinking, like when we even went to the bathroom, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a whole other area. It's just nonstop.
huge.
It's so impressive. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So how did you get involved in DTG? Like, it's been a while for you, right? This isn't your
Yeah.
first meeting.
Real quick, can you move the microphone just a tad bit closer?
Okay, is that better?
Better.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
DTG. So let's see. One of the quirks, awkward persons, trying to find a place where I could fit in.
Yeah.
And I was so many relatable people. And it was I just took a shot, went to a meeting.
Are you a dental technician?
Yes. I started off in the Air Force as an assistant.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. And then
Nice.
I was a hygienist, and I was assistant, surgical assistant, and then technician.
All in the Air Force?
No, throughout life. And then I was pre-med. I was going to be a dentist. But, long
You
story
were
short.
going to be a dentist?
I know. Thank God I'm in
Damn.
here. Yeah.
Good call on your part.
Yeah, so I always, even when I was assisting, I always found myself in the lab.
Yep.
So I just always kind of knew that was just where I needed
Sure.
to be. And
Was
then
there a lot of chance to do lab work as you're assisting in the Air Force?
Well, yeah. Well, the between patients, the lab was right in between all of our operatories.
Oh.
So whenever in between patients were at lunch, I would just go
And play.
and and they knew they had a little area for
That's
me, and I
awesome.
would, break mandrels and just almost kill myself. But that's how
Sure.
I learned. So, but it was so much fun. I loved it. I was always tinkering in the lab.
So at what point did you shift from clinical to lab?
When I got out of the military, at that point, I've already covered hygiene and all that stuff. And then I was living in New Jersey. And a lot of the places where I was trying to get a job at, they said, well, you need your license,
Oh,
all
yeah,
this crap.
yeah.
So I was like, let me go back to the school and get my stuff. So then I was like, let me just go to lab school, because this was something that I've always wanted to do. And there's a lab school in Brooklyn. So
Is that Renata's school?
I was just going to
yeah,
say, yes.
she was my professor.
Oh,
Danielle
you're
Alter
kidding
was my
me.
professor.
Oh,
that's
Yeah,
a great
that was the first
school.
time I saw Peter Peasy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was it's been fun. So it's so cool to be on this side of things, and the people that were so influential are my colleagues.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It really is neat. It's so rewarding.
So where did you land? So are you removable, ceramics, a little bit of this?
I was more on the
CAD?
removable side.
Yeah.
That was just my thing. Tissue
Yeah.
Really?
was just and I still keep in touch with a doctor out in Jersey, and once in a while, he's retired, he's older, and he doesn't do much, but he's getting ready to close everything down. But whenever he needs me to do any type of composite work, he'll give me a call, and I don't.
Because you're the best,
Well,
right? I'll say it for you.
Well, we just it's just something personable. Sometimes I just take the trip just to go spend some time with them and have some coffee. But it's I love doing that. I love my composite work, and I never told anybody because I never want
Yeah.
I miss the bench, but I love what I do regardless. So
Are you in the composite competition? I heard there's one here today.
no,
A
I
gum
was
tissue.
the gum battle.
Gum battle.
Oh, I can't wait for that. No, I didn't have I did the competition with Renata like years ago, and that one. And I'm sitting there at the bench. Renata's next to me. She's
No pressure.
Yeah, and I'm looking at her, and I already threw my hands up. I said, I'm just going to just play. Yeah, I already knew I was done. I just pulled out my phone, just started taking pictures. I gave up. But it was so awesome to be part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you're never going to have this type of experience anywhere else. Yeah, I love coming here.
So were you at the first DTG Symposium?
No, I didn't even know of that because I was not on social media at all. I didn't get a Facebook until after DTG. They were like, how do we get in touch with you? And I said, I don't like social media. I'm not on anything. He's like, we need to keep in contact.
Yeah.
So after that was when I signed up for Facebook. Is that how you?
Interesting.
Yeah, and that was it. Besides that,
So
I
they
was
gave
living
you
in
a
my
little
bubble.
push, eh?
Yeah. I just stayed in my bubble, and I didn't know that because every time I would always insinuate something or come up with an idea, and wherever it was the office or the labs, they would always kind of look at me like, yeah, no, that's too outlandish. Let's stick to the book. But it was nice to know there's a whole world that was doing all of this cool stuff and coming up with ideas and sharing, and that's when I found my people.
Yeah,
I was like,
for
I got a
sure.
tribe, you know?
And when you say that,
Mhm.
it permeates
That's
out
it.
of you, like totally.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
So what, did you open up your own lab or?
I ran a lab. I did want to do removables, and then I called a couple people, technicians that I knew, and I said, I want to do a removable lab. And everybody's like, no, everything's going to digital. We're not going to do it. But now look at all these
God, I know.
labs now,
True.
you know,
Removable
and they're
labs
like,
where
oh,
it's at.
but it's too late. My career went another direction. But that was a dream for me to have a removable lab because that was my.
Yeah.
That was where.
So what direction did your career go in?
Oh, right. Currently, I'm the. I hate using this term, but White Peaks Dental Solutions in the U.S. I'm the CEO of White Peaks Dental.
Wow, high five.
Thank you. I just like to say I'm Sheila. Yeah, I don't like titles.
I get that. I really do.
So, I run White Peaks here in the United States, and that's been so much fun because we do so much with education. Like, we don't have any, sales people on the floor. We don't do anything like that. We get all of our customers through either recommendation or education.
Wow.
So Sandra Polanco at FMR Training Center, they're doing some incredible things over there. He's also one of my milling centers. So a lot of education.
Yeah.
We just lose everything?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we lost. I think we just lost the background, which is nice.
Yeah.
Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good.
Say
then.
something for me.
Something for
That is
me.
so much better. All right. So
I
white.
think
Yeah,
it's
this
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So
For those that are just tuning in, I figured something out.
We learn something
He's
new every
the
day.
I
smart
can hear
one.
everybody now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was a little crazy.
Like I said, it's our first one.
Focus.
It's actually kind of nice. It kind of just.
So we're back with Sheila.
So tell me about White Peaks.
Peaks. Yes.
I don't know much about it.
You said education and
We sell zirconia and metal, all kinds of, but mostly we focus on zirconia. We have our own production in Germany. We are a German company.
so White Peaks is a name in Germany or a town in Germany. I thought Danielle said that. Is that?
Oh, White Peaks Dental Solutions is the name of the company in Germany.
Okay.
Yes, and
I thought it
we
was the town.
and we have our new building there, and it's also education has an education room, a training room, and I can't wait to use that. I probably might kick something off before the next IDS, and that's exciting. And our production is there, and and that's just a lot of fun. What's really cool about this company is that every single person is a technician. So Oliver Parker was the founder, and so he had his own lab, and his best friends, surround, like everyone is involved in dental. So you don't get a salesperson on the floor. When you see us, you're looking at dental people.
Which I tell you what, that makes a huge difference.
Right.
It's not just sales.
Right, and I have so many people that call me, and they're like, hey, this company just sold me this milling machine. I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, call them. And they're like, well, it's just a sales guy. Yeah. But what makes it so rewarding on this side, I'm like, okay, let me help you. Let's figure out our centering. Let's figure all this stuff out. So that when they call White Peaks, it's pretty cool because you're not just getting a salesperson, you're actually getting a technician that knows what they're talking about. And that's what makes it different, right? We understand and we
The
can relate
issues.
to
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, so that's what's pretty cool about that. Yeah.
Do you do a lot of that troubleshooting?
Oh, daily, all the
Daily.
time.
Yeah,
These
look at
doctors
the
have
confidence on
they
this
have
one.
they
That's
have
a no-brainer.
they have my cell phone number, and I just get to the point. I'm like, okay, doc. It'll be like Sunday,
Yep.
and he's
Oh,
like,
no.
hey, I'm struggling. Okay, I'm like, I know you don't want to be in your office right now, so let me go ahead and help you out. So I don't mind doing it. I love my job.
Yeah.
I love what I do,
Yeah.
and I love helping, and I love problem solving, and that's how we learn, and that's just great to see help other people be successful and get it, and
Yeah.
it's so rewarding in itself.
You recently created a
Yeah, let's talk about
group.
that.
Because I stalk things online. I saw the whole event.
We really want to know.
So what was this? The queens of something.
Yeah, so Queens Women in the Industry. So what that was,
And that was your brainchild, right?
that was actually, I came up with this idea many years pre-COVID. Pre-COVID kind of COVID shut it down
Yeah.
when we were in the middle of planning it. And then Muriel Deutsch came up with the name, and I do whatever she says. I love her. Low-key scares the hell out of me.
I know that.
I don't mess with her.
The only reason her husband was on the podcast is because she told me to.
Yeah, low-key she scares the hell out of me, but I love her. And she was like, this
same.
is what we're going to call it. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. I'll register that.
That's great.
Yeah, and so it was just, I just wanted an all-female platform because I'm a military family. I'm a military brat. So
Really? Okay.
I don't know too much. When I got to the military, that was the most civilian life that I'm starting to get. So I'm so used to, and my father was Special Forces.
Oh,
So everything was very strict growing
Wow.
up.
Yeah.
Right. So do what you're told. That's it. The little inside person that wanted to do things. And
Yeah.
I was all, stay in your lane, and that's it. And so that's why I was saying before, like my ideas and the things that I had, and then when I found DTG, I thought it was pretty cool. And I was like,
You felt like you were let out.
yeah,
a little
exactly.
bit.
So
yeah.
I'm like, now I'm at this point, after the experiences that I received, that I've been through, I was able to, and the criticism and all kinds of things and the limitations that were put on me, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
The limitations that were put on me, I was like, okay, can I do this? Is this something that I can do? Like when I came up with the idea, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. But I'm like, I'm not a big company. I'm just me. So it's just an idea that I had after the frustrations of one particular day. And I say, I got something to say. And then I was like, I wonder if someone else does too. And after I shared my idea with a few women in leadership in the company, I asked them, and they're like, yeah, I got something to say too. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. So, and then when all this happened, when I was getting everything ready to get, then COVID hit, and then I was like, and I called everybody up, I said, hey, I'm ready to do it. And it was tough because, it wasn't a White Peaks thing. I didn't promote White Peaks. It was a me thing. So I just had to kind of figure this out, kind of figure out where I can get my sponsorship and
That's
what do
gotta
I
be a
pay
lot
by
of work.
myself. I remember Dan called me because GCs. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for GC. GC did so much sponsoring. I have to really,
Big props to GC.
Oh,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
big time. So I remember Dan called me one day. He's like, who is helping you? I was like, nobody. He's like, Sheila, you need some help. I was like, I didn't know all this all this goes. So
What you were in for.
Oh my gosh! But it was so rewarding, and it was so cool. It just didn't. It was just like what Vaughn said down there. It didn't matter about how you got here or whatever. It's just why you're here. You're here because you want to be here.
Yeah.
So it's that same thing. Everybody that wanted to show up, and it was just pure support. It was so genuine, and it was so humbling. I'm still on my high from it.
Oh, I saw the pictures, and I
we-
followed you guys on Facebook, and I was like, next year, my ass is going to be there.
I would love.
Allie was there.
Yeah, we had fun.
Danielle was there.
It was so
great.
cool to see everybody just be in there. They were like, well, do I have to wear my suit? I'm like, no, man. I just want you guys just to be free.
Yep.
Just be free. And that's what we did. And it was so cool. I don't think I've danced that much Like maybe in my 20s. Like
Where was it held?
it was in
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Are you going to stay in New Orleans?
Oh
or
no!
Are you going to move it every
I'm actually
year?
going to announce the next. I got to see the venue coming up. So many people had reached out to me after
And said, "Can I help? Can I help?"
Yeah, I
It's
want
just
to be
gonna
involved.
grow, you
It's-
know.
Oh, yeah.
it was so exciting. And you know what? And if it doesn't, I'm still down. The impact.
I'm going.
I
Yeah.
thought I was going to sit here and be inspiring for other people, but man, when I walked away,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
that-
definitely going to happen again next
oh
year.
yeah, oh
That's
yeah, it's
awesome.
definitely going to happen next year. I can't wait.
And do you have a place that people can go to keep an eye on when this announcement happens? Is there a website? Is there social media?
I do have a website. It's Queens and Women in the Industry.
It's just called Queens Women in Industry.
Yes.com.
Okay, perfect.
It's very simple.
Well, this is good because when people hear this episode,
Oh,
we want to
cool.
drive them there.
Yeah, and then once I have the announcement, once I know the plans, I'll put the announcement. I'm also going to do early registration, and then the people that come back again, they're immediately going to get a discount.
Sweet.
And then even for the following year after that, those people that was the first time that attended, they're going to get a discount for the next one. So I'm just going to.
So those OGs in 10 years will
Yeah.
still be getting a discount.
Well, no, not them. I'm just saying for the following year.
Oh, the following year.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
yeah. So then it will be just a constant. This is like a domino effect.
Yeah.
For every newcomer, your next one's going to be. a discount.
So for somebody like me that wasn't there and the people
Mm-hmm.
listening, what was the content like? Like, what are you?
Oh, man.
What is your goal to bring to us? Is it technical as well as emotionally charged?
Yeah,
and
everyone told their story. They told their story on how they got there to their position through the success. They said, and it was very raw. It was definitely a lot of emotion. I'm glad you said that. It was definitely a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
3 people discussed how they came from out of the country and their steps to get here and all their trials and all the rejection and it was so empowering.
all the hard work.
It
and
was just
climbing. and-
not even just that, and kicked in the face. I mean,
Yeah.
it was so raw that I still get phone calls, and mostly from guys. I had more men that called me, and they said, "Hey, this was something that it made me go home and say some nice words to my wife and recognize who she is." And I loved it. Not only was it inspiration to women, but it also impacted the men. And what was crazy was that it even went to their homebound.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm feeling
you
it
know
right
what I'm
now.
saying?
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
really
So it
cool.
wasn't just, it was cool. And then at the same time, we get to talk about tea.
Yeah.
You know, so it was really cool. Everyone told their story and a lot of things that we didn't even know about each other and a lot of things that we could never express at any other type of venue because
Venue.
no one wants to hear
Yeah.
that. No one wants to hear that, but you should hear that because this one guy, he was like, I didn't know that's what you went through. I didn't know that this was a thing. And that was pretty cool to see. He's like, now I see this in a whole different light. And this one gentleman came with his wife, and he says, I have now told my boss that I'm cutting my hours, and I'm balancing my family life. Yes, it was so, and oh my gosh,
So it permeated through a whole
it
lot of
was
areas.
so cool. Yeah, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able that when you walked away from it, it wasn't just a meeting. You walked away with just some sort of transformation in it. Even my
great
my
word.
own even my own employee. She came in there. When I said, as soon as we go back to the office, she's like, morning meeting. I was like, oh, okay. What Danielle said, what she spoke about, and oh my gosh, it was something for everybody. Even the cameraman. He was like, I applied what she said to my personal life and my business. So it was really incredible. And when we had the morning meeting, I was like, oh shit. You know, she went in there. She's like, okay, I need you. She was telling she had a job for everybody, and she reorganized her department, her shipping department. I was like, damn, that was cool.
Nice.
You know,
Something that someone took back on Monday morning. That's fantastic.
yeah,
Yep.
it's really cool. It was really cool. It was really neat.
So keep us posted then, because I'm going. Maybe we can go together and we can do a
Yeah,
podcast
I'm all
next
for
year.
it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
We would be
Absolutely.
honored.
Everyone's welcome. Yeah, I'm down. That's more the merrier. And good people. Good people. And it looks like it will be the same speakers again. I know some more wanted. Another few ladies asked if they could speak. But right now, I can tell you the outline is already done. The schedule is already ready. That's
And
how
you gotta. It doesn't happen for a while.
And it was only like 6 weeks ago. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
You have your
it was
shit
funny.
together.
It was funny. No, because it wasn't just that. Because hey, so what happened was the show was over, and it was the last night. Everyone's getting ready to go out, and we all were in the lobby, and it was like, where do we go next? And in the lobby, we all scheduled it for the next one. We're all ready. We were ready to go
That's pretty great.
before we even left. So it was already done. So that was, oh man, and I remember going home, and as soon as I got home and said hi to my son and my dogs, and just had a moment before I closed my eyes, and I was like, I'm just Shelia.
It's amazing what just Shelia can do, though.
And it was in that, and I'm so humbled for GC. GC was, like I said, I wouldn't have been able to go follow through with if it wasn't for GC.
Sure.
I owe so much to Dan.
It's kind of cool that they're here and we're in their facility. And,
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, no, forever. Because Dan has ended up becoming somebody very special to me personally, and just and you know how that is when you meet people and just
Absolutely.
start this relationship. But wow, just for growing up the way that I did, with such a militant lifestyle, and not being able to have that, and then we move every single year. So I don't have a childhood friend. I don't have anything. And then I'm able to get this all reimbursement of friendship and connection. And Dan, big props to Dan and DTG and all my sponsors and supporters. Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's
Well,
really cool, rewarding.
Good hard work is
Yeah.
what made
Thank
it
you.
happen, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I mean, it's not easy to pull those things off.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have some help next year.
Yeah.
Maybe hire someone. I didn't realize all this stuff goes into doing a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea.
It's
But
tough.
How amazing.
But
Yeah.
it's rewarding once it get pulled off.
It is. I'm still on my high from it.
6 weeks later.
Yeah, I'm still like, Dan, I'm like, I wish I could tell you thank you every day, and everybody thank you. And I still reach out to them. I said, I'm sorry to bother you, but thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really.
Well, Sheila, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for having me. This is cool.
Absolutely.
And I've always, like I said, I've always seen you around. And
You shied.
I
Whatever
detour.
lab day we saw each other, you
Yeah,
shied off.
I
and then-
can't. I can't. I go. I avoid your booth because I'm not the one. I'm not the one to be behind
you
the
are
mic.
now.
But thank you so much for having. You're making me
That
feel
was
really
awesome.
comfortable. I love this.
We
Yeah,
really
thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No,
All
no
right.
problem.
We'll have a cocktail later.
Just relax a little
Who
bit.
knew all the great podcast people were here at the
I know,
DTG
bunch of crazy, awesome people.
from all over the world.
Well, I know, isn't that great?
Hell yeah.
It's I think that's the greatest thing about this organization. It's the love that people have for each other. It's crazy. It's like I was just talking to David Cabeza. He's got his dad on the line. I'm like, oh, dude, I miss you so much.
Aw.
What, did his dad used to come to the meetings?
Yeah, he did. He can't get him this time. He's coming into town. I think he's going to New Jersey in
Why the hell is
December. He's teaching the BDD course there.
that? Oh, nice.
Awesome guy.
Nice. Well, let's introduce you.
Yes, let's do it. We've been waiting for this man right here.
Quint? Is it Whipple?
It is
Whipple.
like the Charmin guy.
Yes, I love that name. Just say
Quint is
Don't
a very
squeeze the
unique
Charmin.
name.
Yeah, it is.
Is it short for something?
It's not short for anything.
Really?
Yeah, my mom, when she was first married, took care of a kid. His name was Quint, and her
loved
thing
him.
was he's a little shit. And she goes, and I love him. Name me after him.
That's awesome. It's a great name.
But you don't know
So
many.
hear it.
You know, like Quint Kucinich,
I've never,
who was an ESPN guy, and then I've met two other people named Quint, both of them Navajo.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't have no idea.
Yeah, but it's not short for Quentin or anything. So
I love it.
So DTG, how long have you been coming? You were one of the pretty much early adapters,
I was.
right?
I was.
OG.
Yeah, exactly right. I showed that they did the first meeting in 2013, and I was here in 2014. And then I started attending 2014, 15, and then 2016. They asked me to be part of it. So
Nice.
it's been the greatest thing ever.
So talk about your dental history. How did you become a technician?
Oh, it's crazy.
You're in Arizona, right?
I am in Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people you ever meet that went to college and never changed their degree. At 13, I wanted to be a dentist. I was like,
Oh,
and I
God
went through
help
everything.
you.
And I got through.
Why? Did you
Hola,
have family?
bonita.
Did you have family? that
No,
was?
you know, I found out later on my great grandfather on my dad's side, and actually his mother's side,
Yeah.
was a dentist in Denver. I found that out later.
But you always wanted to be a
But I
dentist?
always wanted to be a dentist orthodontist. That's what I always wanted to do. And so
Interesting.
I went to BYU for a while, and then I served a church mission. I went to Portugal for 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Wow.
And that's why I know Portuguese, so I was helping him out translate downtown below, which is awesome. And so I did that, and then I came back and I was like, you know, I worked in an orthodontic lab, and I realized after a year and a half, you're not going to make money in an orthodontic lab unless you own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was terrible. My wife married me when I was making $4.50 an hour. I'll tell you, it wasn't for my money she married me, nor my looks. But
Your hand skill was very
my hand
good.
skill was good, right? Exactly, right?
Which is very important coming from a female. just saying.
Exactly, right? So, yes, I applied. I went through ASU, finished at ASU, and applied dental school for 3 years. My senior year, actually my junior year and my senior year at Arizona State, and then, or as I call it, Arizona State Liberal University. And then I graduated, and then my third year after I graduated, I applied and didn't get in, and it was almost impossible that time unless you were in state, had family, or your GPA was a 3.9. If you were didn't have either.
Yeah.
So I had a 3.5, and I had no one in family that had it before. And
Yeah.
one of my interviews was crazy. I was at IUPUI, and
Why are so many people crazy dancing in front of
I
our
think
I
table?
know, right?
Yeah, there's something
it's
to
me.
that.
It's just
Give
me.
it
I
up.
don't know what it is. Maybe I did it to them.
They're trying to get you to smile, but
Exactly.
don't they know it's a podcast?
It's a podcast.
You can smile all you want.
So I didn't get in, and so I said, I had offered her to run a lab. I was working in a lab. I wanted to understand the flip side. So I worked for.
I was going to ask if you do any lab when you're going through dentistry
Yeah,
school.
so that's why I wanted to understand the flip side, and I wanted to understand what I was going to be sending, what I was going to do, what I needed to do as a dentist, and so I started in the business in that at 18, 19. And then I switched to the dental lab in 1992. 91, 92, I did orthodontics. In 92, I moved to ceramics. And I actually started in composites.
So did I.
Concept.
Yep. I
Best
started in
freaking stuff
composite,
ever.
too.
Still.
Mine was Targus Vectrus.
I did a
Oh,
ton of
God.
Targus.
Yep.
But Concept was actually fabulous material. The problem with it is everyone started using it outside of its measurements and what it should have been taken care of. And they started making bridges with it.
We don't do that.
Oh my gosh,
Come
it was
on.
terrible, and it completely
Stretch
failed.
that
So
stuff.
Europe quit using it, and so Ivoclar dropped it. So it was Ivoclar, wasn't
I
it?
think so.
Yeah, and so they dropped it completely, and then so the U.S. didn't have it anymore. And I talked to one of my doctors I worked with for 19 years, and he said he saw a composite case we made a long time ago. It still looks phenomenal.
19 years later.
No, it's more like it's like 26 years later.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah.
pretty nuts.
And they still, I do composite bridges still too. So yeah, everyone doing like the one wing Maryland bridges now. I still do double wing composite bridges with glass fiber and a veneer. I've had those in the mouth for 25 years, going 26 years with no touching, no nothing. They look phenomenal still.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I got into it. And then I moved to Vegas. I worked with Las Vegas Aesthetics.
Yeah. I was wondering if you were going to say
Yeah,
that.
and
You did.
I did. I ran it. I came in. I was going to be part owner of it. That kind of backed out in the end due to some not so.
Personality.
No, it wasn't personality.
Not yours, of
No, it
course.
wasn't mine. It was really frustrating because I loved it there. I loved working with LVI. That was my favorite thing.
Oh, yeah.
Get a live patient. There's nothing better than learning than working on a live patient.
Is this the lab associated with LVI?
We did. It also was Williams, Orem, and Microdental. All of us were associated with them.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
So for Las Vegas Aesthetics, I helped run all the anterior courses, and I helped run the posterior.
Wow.
And so Ron Jackson, like we talked about yesterday, he ran the posterior courses. It was his course. And then he and I began work together till he retired.
Lifelong friendship.
Wow.
Yep.
Phenomenal individual, talented beyond amazing. And just an incredible human being. Love him to death. And his wife, Mary Jo.
So you fell in love with ceramics pretty
So I
much,
did. I
right?
fell in love with ceramics right then. So I started doing ceramics at Gold Dust Dental in 92.
I've heard that
Oh,
name.
really great
Yeah.
labs. Sam.
So I did that when Empress came out. So, I mean, I've done Empress probably, and there's not many people started doing Empress 92. I was one. So I've done Empress and pressables since, I'm 31 years now into it.
Wow.
In pressables. My goal in life was to never do a PFM. I failed.
Do they still do PFMs? We talked to somebody yesterday
geez.
that said they were 10% PFMs.
Yeah.
I'm not that high. I mean, we do a couple. I did a huge 10-unit case, so they look phenomenal, but, I don't enjoy it. It's
Few and far between.
Yeah.
That's
Did
a
you
lot
cast
of
it or
building.
send it out
You know
for
what? I have
SML?
to. This one was SML. The last one I did.
SLM.
SLM to
SLM.
Argon.
Whatever.
Yeah, I say the same thing. It's slim.
S&M.
It's slim. So no, but I do that out, and I don't cast at all. I've never cast PFM.
Yeah.
Never cast in my
Ever?
entire life. I wanted to, but my boss wouldn't let me. She's like, I don't want too many hands of the gold. Like, you measure the gold. I don't care. I just want to learn it. Nope. Now I do work for her.
Nice.
It's funny. She goes to my office, and I'm like, I mill for her, I press for her, do stuff for her. It's kind of funny.
You just don't cast for her.
No, I don't cast, but she'll cast for me.
Yeah.
And so it was a relationship that I rebuilt after I left. And so
You left the Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And is that when you opened up your own?
Then you went to Gold Dust.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
actually,
sorry.
and
Gold
actually yesterday was my 20th year to the day when I opened my lab in
You're kidding me.
in Phoenix.
Wow. And
What's
you're
the name
here.
of your lab?
We're Phoenician Dental Studio.
Phoenician. I knew it's some sort of like Phoenix or something.
I didn't want to name anything after myself. I mean, my dad goes like Whipple teeth. I'm like, that's so dumb.
Whipple teeth.
Worldwide teeth, worldwide dental. I'm like, no, I'm out.
That doesn't sound good
I'm
at
like, I
all,
know.
Dad.
Well, I mean, every once in a while, some of my office, if I know who's calling, you see on the phone, I go, it's a Phoenician Dental Morgue. You stab them, we slab them. Stuff. I do it with my clients. It's kind of fun. I was a Phoenician underwear. Haynes, please be brief. Just stupid stuff. But
I love that name. You came up with it?
Yeah, we did Phoenician because if you look at people understand that. Actually, Phoenix is in a true valley, and it is surrounded 360 by mountains.
Yeah.
And they're actually mountains. And so in the far on the east side is Four Peaks, and it's the highest concentration of black bear in America.
Really?
Just per capita
Yeah, sure.
of bear.
So don't go hiking there.
Yeah,
So
no worries.
is it black or brown bear? I think it's black. But it's beautiful setting, and during the wintertime when we get snow on it, it's breathtaking. And so
Yeah.
that's in my logo. When I said Phoenician, my dad's like, what, Venetian? I'm like, blinds? Like, no. I had a guy that wanted to redo my logo, and he's like, look, I got this. Like, dude, it's not Venetian. It's Phoenician. So, but I love the valley. I absolutely love it. My wife grew up there. She was born and raised there.
Yeah.
My family moved there in 98 when I was after I finished high school. I graduated, and I went to BYU for a little bit. And so I thought I'd hate Arizona. And I moved back there in 91. I got back from my mission, and I'm thinking, I'm going to go back up to Utah where I've been for 13 years. And I'll date somebody. And, 4th of July, I went on a date with a friend of mine that I used to date personally. And then we just became friends. And I went out with her, and there was just some chick running across the lawn with this big old long watermelon knife. They had a watermelon bust. He's just going across the lawn and going, I want to meet that chick. I want them to meet the crazy one. And 32 years later.
That's a great story.
So,
you met her while she had a knife.
I met her. She had a knife. Yeah, and their mom that night, we came home from the fireworks and all that, went back to the house, and I dropped her off, and I went home, and she tells me today, she told me like after we got dating again, we started dating, she goes, my mom walked around that night and said, Shelia Whipple, the first night I met her. So,
What'd she think of this whole teeth thing that you did? Did she?
They were weird about it. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, that's kind of crazy. You do what?
Yeah.
I'm like everybody. You know,
You
it's
make
fun.
teeth?
It's funny because if you know that Vaughn's original name for his personal lab was Dark Horse.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Right. So it's very, in my opinion, I've never really asked him this, but it almost seems as if we are the dark horse of the dental society. No one knows we exist. I mean, do they? I mean, they think that you go to your dentist and they make everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of how I got into it. And I ran that there for 5.5 years in Vegas. I loved it. Loved LVI. It's my favorite thing. And when I had to leave, he would basically negated on our contract, actually signed by a lawyer. And I was like, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
And I've started, strip joint's not a culture in Vegas. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I don't gamble. I don't drink. So it just, as you live there, you don't go to most locals don't go to the strip anyways.
Yeah,
we
it's
avoid
like people at
We hear
Clearwater
that,
don't go to
yeah.
the beach.
And people in Indiana don't go to the 500.
Yeah,
So there you go.
exactly. So I loved moving back to Phoenix, and I've loved it ever since.
Well, that's like that area, Phoenix, Scottsdale. It's a mecca for good dentists.
It is a good mecca. I only have a few accounts local, and
Really?
most of my accounts are out of state.
Interesting.
So it's but I had so many contacts from Vegas.
They follow you?
Because I did. And I had to be careful on that when I left because I had a non-compete, and I didn't. I bait it 100%. I walked out. But I also found out I had a bunch call me and track me down.
Yeah.
Can't stop it,
And I
yeah.
couldn't stop that, and I actually verified it with 3 lawyers. It's like, hey, you're good. They're contacting you. You're good.
Yeah.
So, and that was fun. I had one contact me from Louisiana. I still work with his son because his son and him had worked together, and he's since passed away. But it's a hoot. I got this phone call. I saw my call. I'm like, oh, jeez. It was like, what's up? It's like, is this Quint Whipple? I'm like, yeah. I'm like Quint from Las Vegas. Like, yeah. He goes, and you always hear him, Dr. Johnson, we found him. We found him. and then you hear that going, well, get his damn information.
And you're like, that's a great story.
But it was hilarious. I worked with him till he passed away. And I called him on his 75th birthday, and he called, and I said, hey, happy birthday, man. I love you. How you doing? He goes, how's your day? He goes, well, just got back to the doctor. I said, what did they tell you? You're going to be alive for another 50 years? He goes, no, I got stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
I was like, that was,
Yeah.
That's harsh.
Bummer.
Yeah.
That's a tough phone call.
Yeah.
So the one thing I did, which I love with my clients, is how I treat them. So you and I were talking about it yesterday. I'll die going to my grave to that. I still believe that you can run a business on heart and personal relationships and ethics, and it is not just business. And that's kind of the way I've always tried to deal with it. It was hard.
Yeah.
It's harder that way because it's easier to just
Being
yeah, it just
Sorry.
exactly. Well, it's true. It's just like, well, it's just business. Well, I don't do that. I don't burn bridges, and I don't enjoy doing that. So, so it was cool. I went down. I surprised him, and I went to go see him. And he's like, all of a sudden, hey, Quint, what you doing? He's got deep Southern accent, drawl, and all of a sudden I walked past his room, and he said that to me, and all of a sudden I heard his handpiece stop. And I'm like, and all of a sudden he rolls back out and says, what are you doing here? I said, I'm come hang out with you for a day. He said, how you doing? I dropped off cases and stuff, and we spent the whole day together. And then I left in the day. He cried, tell me you love me, and see me on the other side.
Wow.
It was really neat. But that's kind of how that's what I do with my clientele. That's how I feel about them. That's how I treat them.
So tell us about your lab now. Are you still just mostly doing anterior cases?
I do a lot of anterior. I love occlusion. I'm a neuromuscular trained technician.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not like the CR kind of guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Tay, come on. Your tape.
Tay's awesome. I love her.
We love Tay.
Oh, my God.
Tay's behind us.
If anyone doesn't love Tay, then we need to take him out back. And
That's right.
You should hear my other tape.
That's what he said. But no, she is absolutely so awesome. I love Tay. She's absolutely amazing, tremendous person.
So for those of our listeners that don't know the difference between like neuromuscular occlusion, can you just kind of give us the fast?
Well, what it's basically not being, keep the lower four anteriors are always out of occlusion if you're doing full mouth. it gives the ability, most of the time you're opening the patient and giving them more freeway space. So your occlusion a lot less interferences. So you're more almost like a lingualized occlusion, but not. But you just don't have it tripodization. You really want to have it some good stopping points, but you want all the triangular ridges out of occlusion. Give it freeway space, your condyle open up, and give you freeway space. And it's not, as with your CR, which has literally 101 different definitions. And it's usually positioning the jaw posteriorly into your condyle and your TMJ being at the pad. And it's so tight. Yeah. And it's just like as you relax, if you sit and you relax, when you just open your jaw, it drops and goes forward 99% of the time. There's very few people that actually goes back. I've seen it, but it's very few. And so
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, so you drop and you come forward. And so I was fabricated according to that, and I love that you see a lot of people when they fabricate a full mouth case or maxillary onto the lower mandibular, is that they make the occlusion very tight, so there's very little space in the facial cuspid areas, and I like leaving space so they can bite, they can chew properly, and their chewing cycle is more open, and you have less interferences, and so. You can more. Then it's also measured by EMG scans, so you measure the muscles and how they're fit and what they're doing. And so it's funny because everyone says you can't measure it. And I was like, I can completely measure it.
Oh, totally.
Totally measure it. That's CR's thing is you can't measure. I'm like, well, you can manipulate my jaw posteriorly 3 times, and you can put me in pain all 3 times, and I can measure it. Chelsea, I'm going to smack you. I had a doctor in Vegas. He wanted me when I was quitting. He's like, I'll put up the funds, I'll make the thing. And then we'll do this. I'm like, no. Wow. And he put my jaw back. I was like, I did it 3 times. I said, yeah, all 3 times I was in pain. Yeah. I do not want to be there.
Like forcing.
Yeah, I have no desire to be there. I said I want to open up and I want to come forward and relax. And
so you can do that all digitally now, right? You can design. You can design digital.
And actually, it's funny you asked that because I actually have a webinar actually on Monday for DMG that I actually talk about that.
No kidding.
Yeah, asked that question. So yeah,
we would promote it, but this will come out long after. Tomorrow.
But it's kind of funny. You asked that, but I'm doing that. So you can do it. It's done a little bit different, but you make it an appliance. So you open their mouth. You make it a functional appliance. You actually create the teeth, and so they chew, they eat with it, they do everything, sleep with it. It's not when you move and take it out. So your bones will actually remodel and adjust to what's going on.
It's fantastic.
I did my mom. I restored my mom that way, and she was at I think 13.5 was her VDO, and I think I took her at 16.9, almost 17, maybe 17.1, something like that. So not a lot of opening, but she's on trajectory where I removed all of her migraines, all the tingling in her fingers, all of her shoulder pains. So in neuromuscular,
there's so much associated with
the body is so
body.
associated, and people don't really realize how associated occlusion is with your entire muscular body and the physiology of it. And so that's one thing my first attendance of a course at LVI when they came in and started doing neuromuscular, and called Brain Fighter, who did it, Jenkelson came in, and we did what's called a swallow bite. And so it basically you swallow and take a bite when you swallow, and your jaw kind of positions in a certain way, and it opens up, relaxes to where it's comfortable, whether it's opening up or staying in the same position or shifting around. Yeah, it's really kind of cool. And I'm like, and that's not measurable.
No,
because but so we
I can visualize
right.
it.
So we fabricated a splint that night, and it's the craziest thing ever. This girl, she was like 5'3", 5'5", thin build, 110 pounds, skinny little gal, sweetie, and she stood in front of us, and she sat there slouched. That was her upright position. Yeah. So her heads were slouched, and her left side, her right hip switched out, and her left hip switched in, and then her shoulders went up and actually were contra to her hips. And her shoulders were off, and her eyes are going. So she walked down the aisle and just kind of like limped along, And then so we went and we put in the orthotic, and then turned around. She stood there and went, and stood straight up. I'm like,
immediately.
Everyone's no effing way, stop the press, stop. And she walked down the in between the desks. I'm like, and she walked just straight. I'm like. No,
that's
there's
awesome.
No way.
Really cool.
It's like everyone's like, no, take it back out, go stand up there again. And she repeated it 3 times, and it was like, is this fake? And it's not. And so when a lot of people use the hinges on an articulator, I think of it more as the articulating point is the atlas.
Yeah.
And so it's the atlas and your first vertebra, first, second vertebra, and not necessarily your condyle.
So the teeth have to do more than just look pretty? I'm confused.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. And I've taken courses with Kois. Well, I've not taken anything with Pankey. I'll be honest. I've never taken it. I mean, I've taken lessons that are CR.
Yeah.
And courses. And one of my other one, too, is with Spears and stuff. And so I've taken a lot of those courses, and it's fun. But I love neuromuscular. I love the concept of it. I love the fact you get people out of pain. And so when I fabricate, and I think as a technician, even though I'm doing a single tooth, and I'm trying to teach my office that is like, you're not just doing tooth dentistry, you're doing mouth dentistry, and that single tooth can jack somebody up.
Big time.
And you've seen that for years.
Yeah.
You've done that for years. If say you do an occlusal filling, you get that filling off, your whole bite's jacked up.
Yep.
And it bothers you all the time.
Right. Headaches, everything come from it. And so I try to get the office to realize that just because something's fabricated a certain way, give it a little more space, give it some more freeways, take all the excursive movements out so they can actually just, as they go in, their cycle, they can just chew into one point and not go hit. And slide into place. Humans are great. We accommodate.
Yeah.
We accommodate like nobody's business.
And screw everything else up, though,
we do.
in the chain.
You do.
In the same time.
So if your left leg hurts, you start favoring that.
Yep.
Next thing you know, well, not long, your right leg's hurting. Your left foot's hurting,
true.
your hip's kicking off. So the same thing with dental. So people don't really realize that that's really the case, but it's so.
So they're getting ready to start.
Yeah,
but real
great
quick,
time.
Quint, when did the coin start? How did that
I
start?
love the coin, by the way.
Hola, gorgeous.
Did Dora win Did you win that?
I got it for my son. It's their birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I
She's got two awesome boys.
That's wonderful.
This is mi amiga portuguesa. So she's from Portugal, and I lived in Portugal, so we've been fast friends with Renatas from Brazil.
I know. We've
So
had both of them
I love
on
these
here.
girls. They're some of the best people ever.
Dora's been on the podcast too much. We don't allow her. We don't let her back on.
this time, no. You're not.
So every time I see them, I obviously jump into Portuguese instantaneously.
Oh, how fun.
So, but yeah.
The coins.
The coins.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff you see with it's a military thing.
Oh, okay.
So it started out in like the Korean War and stuff, where people made coins and relishing their company and their battalion and stuff, and there's recognized. And so the military do games, or like if you go to a bar, and you have people have their coins, someone will pull out a coin and slap it down. So if you have a general, if you have a private.
I remember they used to give coins when they graduated.
Correct.
In the academy.
And then you handshake it, so it's in your palm of your hand. That's how you transfer it.
Officer and a gentleman. That's
Correct.
how I know that.
Yep, officer gentleman, exactly. So
Sorry.
yes, so it was the buffalo that started it, in out of the Korean War, and
nice.
I like that thing. I loved because when I met Vaughn, it hit home. Because it was, there's sometimes, you can hear it when you're here in a meeting like this, is that the passion that comes from it, and you and I talked about it yesterday, Barb, and it's, you go through a point where you hate what you do, and if you get in the business side of things, it's this business, it will just take you through the rocks and roll you over it like an alligator and take you under and just roll you and kill you.
Yeah.
And so I loved it so much, I made it my first coin. It had a moral compass on it. So on honesty, integrity, and stuff. So and the new coin that you've gotten today, it's a little bit different, but I kind of went back to it. And so I went back to the original one. So part of the moral compass is on it still. Yeah. And actually, you look at the olive branches on there was Russell de Vroeg's import on that.
So
it is a bit the patriotism to Russell and all he brought to our community. It was part of the DTG. And I never got to take a course from Russell.
No.
But I met him in a very short time and was taken by him and his passion for our industry, just such an incredible human being that he was. And that was his little implementation he had on that. So I wanted to bring that back for this coin as well, to remember Russell.
That's great.
And so I just started doing that. And then it's kind of funny. I was telling Barbie yesterday, I have people come up to me. It's like, you realize, I know I'm not DTG, but I'm seeing what you're doing, and I think it's picking up our industry. I'm like, I don't know how, but that's cool.
Yeah.
And I love it, and then everyone comes up to me. It's kind of fun to see things pop up, in Christchurch, New Zealand, in Kosovo. You saw things
Seeing
today
it everywhere.
Yeah, you see DTG in Macedonia, DTG Kosovo, DTG, and so it's kind of fun to see it pop up everywhere, and it's just.
You should be proud of
it's
that.
Fun.
It's really
it's
special.
It's a brotherhood,
Yep.
sisterhood.
Yep.
It's awesome.
And it's not a male thing, it's not a female thing. It's just it's a love thing for what we do and a passion.
Yep.
And so that's kind of been fun. We brought together, and the people here that are like devastated they can't get theirs. Well, people are going home with extras to take them to them, and I've already sent some out.
I have one.
Yeah, so
I love
and
it.
so it's just kind of a fun thing.
It's really
It's that
special.
I enjoy, and if people ask to pay for it, and I don't, I make them on my own cost and send them out. I have a company that makes them. I design them. The company makes them, and
Yeah.
and then I send them out to people.
That's
So
great.
it's just fun. That's kind of what I've done, just to hold people together. And my very first one actually had a letter I printed. If you want, I can send it to you. What it truly meant, and why I created it.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun deal. So
Awesome,
that's
Quint.
kind of how it started.
Well, thank you
I
very
think
much.
I think they're gonna pick the winner of the gum battle. So
Oh
let's
yeah,
get to it.
they're doing the gun battle. Yeah.
All right,
Hey, Kostya,
enjoy.
this is my good buddy from Latvia.
Thanks,
Awesome,
Quint.
man. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
A huge thanks to Sheila and Quint for sitting down with us at the DTG Symposium. We really can't stress enough how great that meeting was, and these two conversations just tell a very small part of all of the amazing people that we met there. It's great to hear about people having passion and seeing it come true. So guys, head over to queenswomenintheindustry.com to stay updated on Sheila's next meeting happening in 2024, which I believe we'll be at partner. And we are really glad that Quint didn't become a dentist. Of course we are, as he is part of the lab family because he is always bringing so much knowledge to everywhere he goes. It was great to finally get him on the podcast. I think we chased him around for a day or two.
Yeah.
Even though Miss Tay's tape made enough noise for everyone. Just kidding. We love you, Tay. And your tape. Uh-huh.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for you, and we will talk to you next week.
Have a good one.
Bye. You're too quiet in the morning.
Sorry.